Hi, and welcome back to the Mom and Mind podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Kat. And on this episode, I am speaking with Rudo Savage. She is a mental health advocate, mother of three, author of The Words of the Lost Soul and Becoming Whole in Pieces. She is also the founder of Mindset Mother. Through her writing and mentoring, she empowers others to embrace healing, self acceptance, and transformation, drawing from her own powerful journey of resilience. And on this episode, she is talking about that. She is sharing with us her story, turning her pain into purpose, talking about mother's mental health conditions, and the power of storytelling. So let's dive in and meet Rudo. Welcome, Rudo. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I love talking to people from who are not in the US.
Yeah.
Um, I'm really fascinated in hearing how other systems work, but I
Mm,
also really appreciate that kind of no matter where you are in the world, you can have a similar difficulty, let's say, or there are some things that just connect us in the human experience, regardless of where you're at. And
yeah, so true. Yes.
so, yeah, I would love to start off with wherever you feel you'd like to start with your story.
Sure. So I'll start off with where I am now. So Mindset Mother, it's a recent company that I've started with the aim to help women and mothers deal with mental health struggles and any other challenges that they're going through in life.
Mhm.
It was inspired by my own challenges as a mother. Prior to that, I have wrote two books as well. The Words of the Lost Soul and Becoming Whole in Pieces, which is my newest one. And again, those are focusing on mental health. The first one is predominantly about my experience at a very, very low point in my life when I was hospitalized for my mental health.
Mhm.
And it was literally written, I think, a week after coming out of hospital. So it's very raw, the emotions in there.
Mhm.
Becoming Whole in Pieces, it's more about the kind of recovery process and the healing process moving forward. So yeah, that's where I'm at currently. So if I kind of take you back to how this journey started very, very long ago, I would say probably my teenage years, I just noticed that I felt very different. My mind was very frantic. I could never really pinpoint what specifically was going on.
Mhm.
And I remember being diagnosed with multiple things: depression and anxiety. But none of the medications or the therapy that I was receiving was really helping. Just felt like it was something more manic going on.
Mhm.
It was only, I think I would say 4 years ago, that a psychiatrist diagnosed me with emotional dysregulation. I was started on antipsychotic medication with that. Things started to improve. But the way I can describe how it affected me then is I could go through my life, for example, 98% of my life will be normal, filled with stability. You know, I had three children. I was managing to parent them well. I was going to work as a registered nurse. I was managing to function. But specific triggers would just set off this highly irrational response in me. At its worst, suicidal ideation, I just couldn't rationalize with.
Mhm.
So yes, that's how they got to the diagnosis. I also felt it was triggered by a lot of hormonal changes that as women go through during
Mhm.
menstrual cycles. Pregnancy was always challenging. The postpartum period was horrendous emotionally, trying to navigate through that emotionally. So yeah, it's just certain triggers which kind of bring it on. It's not a constant kind of illness that I'm aware of, but when it hits, it's very strong. But here I am now trying to help others, and I do manage it well with medication, therapy. I do feel it heals me helping others as well. So in a much
Sure.
better place now, but that's where it started.
Sure. So that you said three kids. Um,
Three children, yes.
so what span of time are you talking about when you're discussing the kind of ups and downs with pregnancy and postpartum?
Sure. So I think I already struggled with my emotions even prior to having children.
Mhm.
But I do feel when I became pregnant and had the children, it was elevated. I
Mm.
think naturally, with pregnancy and postpartum, it's such a shift that we go through that nobody prepares you for. It's
Right.
it's just crazy physically, emotionally, your whole identity just shifts, and it's a very challenging time, I think, for mothers in general, not just those who do struggle with their mental health. Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like it's the babies that receive the postpartum care.
Mm.
But when it comes to the mothers, you're kind of forgotten about. It's kind of, somebody told me an analogy about when somebody comes to visit you in hospital after having the baby, it's the baby that they want to see. How is the baby? Is
Mm.
the baby okay? But the mother is just forgotten about after going through, that trauma. It's just forgotten about.
Right. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
massive event in your life.
Yeah, yeah,
Really, the transformational,
yeah,
in really complex ways. Right. I mean, definitely to your point, you can feel kind of like a shadow and
yeah,
everything else
yeah.
happening around you.
So true, yeah. And I feel you give birth and, you have to look after that child immediately. There's not even time to catch your breath and
Right.
recuperate and find this new identity. It's all very sudden and
Right.
yeah,
Immediate.
yeah, yeah, you feel quite lost. And of course it's a happy experience, but I think the fact that it's also quite overwhelming is it's not looked into. You're just expected to be happy. You've got this healthy baby. But it's very overwhelming, yeah, and I've had 3 pregnancies, 3 childbirths, and I can say it's always felt that way. It doesn't necessarily get easier each time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mhm.
Uh, and even if you kind of know, or maybe know what to expect,
Mm.
or have an idea of what potentially could be coming, then there's like
Mm.
the worry about that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
You're like, oh, I
that
don't
is
want to feel like that again, and
yeah,
anticipating, oh, and that's its own anxiety.
it is, yeah. I think as a mother, you're always anxious, it never ends. There's always anxiety there. I was thinking earlier that you think about your children every minute. It never goes. It's your
Right.
identity, isn't it? It's about finding that balance between, yes, being a mother, but also being yourself. You are still a person. You're a person before them. You're still a person after them. But
Mm.
yeah, it can consume you and affect you mentally sometimes. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And you said in the first book that you wrote was very soon after you said after the you came out of the hospital.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. So everything was very fresh at that time.
Very fresh, yes, very raw. I'd had one of my episodes. I think it was triggered by an accumulation of a lot of stress going on at the time. So, yes, I was hospitalized. When I came out of hospital, I went to my parents' house, who were heavily supporting me with the children as needed,
Hmm.
which I'm very grateful because not everybody has that cushion when they need it.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was quite tough because again, I had to put on a preface
Hmm.
of being better than I was
Yeah.
because the children were there. It was really hard, but yeah, I do think that the book really delves into the raw experience of what it's like living with a mental illness and still being a mother at the same
Right.
time, and a functioning mother at that. So yeah, it's very raw and emotional.
I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's kind of amazing that you were able to capture it. It's very hard to even know how you're feeling sometimes, let alone put words
Yeah.
to it and like translate it from, how you're
Mm,
feeling into written
exactly. Yes.
word. That in and of itself is very challenging to do. Mm. What prompted you to write?
Yeah. So even when I say it now, years later, it sounds very surreal. But it was as I was coming back home from hospital, my dad and auntie had collected me. My mother was with the children. And I just had this thought, I need to write, I need an outlet, I need
Mhm.
to get it out. I've never written a book before. I wasn't a person who grew up saying I wanted to be an author and it was my passion. Um, So it was very, very bizarre. It was a very surreal experience. And yes, after I got home and had some rest, I just started writing. And people always ask me, how long did it take to write? And it took, I think, 4 weeks. And I was literally at that desk just most days, just write, 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 write. And yeah, a book came out of it. And
Amazing.
yeah, it was very healing to write, though. I think once we start getting those emotions out,
Yeah.
you feel better for it rather than
Mm,
suppressing them.
for sure. Was this the
Yeah.
first pregnancy?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So I had my children by this point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, that you mentioned that before. They
Yeah.
were that they were there, but you had previously still experienced the ups and downs during pregnant. Okay, so this was like
I had, yeah.
the third time.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, as I said, it was always quite triggering for me, those postpartum emotions. So in the UK, I don't know, it might be different where you are, but after the baby's born, you're seen by someone called a health visitor who comes to see the baby in your home, weighs them, checks they're healthy. They do briefly ask you about, how is mum? How are they doing? And I do remember saying that I was feeling quite low. And the response was, oh, it's just your hormones, not, let's get you some help or what can we do about that? You
Mhm.
should talk to someone. It's just your hormones and they'll settle down. But I feel as women, a lot of things can be put on hormones.
Oh,
It's,
sure.
you're too hormonal. It's normal. It's normal for women to be emotional. But, sometimes it's not what we need to hear. We need to hear what help is out there, what help is available to us, and, to feel understood, because I feel it just invalidates what we're feeling when people just constantly put it down to hormones all of the time.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
so right.
Frustrating.
You're
Yeah.
so right. And it's kind of like a brushing off of like your experience as if it's some catch-all that, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
explains everything. That's ridiculous. There's nothing that
It
does
is.
that.
I know. It's very frustrating. Yes. Yeah. And not just that, I think as mothers, social media is huge at the moment, as we all know. It's scary. It's quite scary how big of an impact it has on us and the younger generations.
Mhm.
And I feel like when we see the mothers on social media, they're very held together. They look presentable. They're in great shape. Everyone's smiling and happy. And I do feel it's so toxic because that's not the reality of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what mother a lot of the time has the time to look like that and present like that? It's not real, and I think that also makes it harder for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's rough. I mean, there's I don't
Yeah,
know anybody who isn't covered in some kind of fluid, either from
I
the
know,
child
right?
or
Yeah. Inevitable, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
um so I don't know how they get all shiny and
Yeah, and it makes us feel bad,
Mhm.
like, that should be us. Why is that not us? Why is that not our family? But yeah, it's just too much to ask a lot of the time, I think. It is, yeah. If I manage to brush my teeth in the morning after sorting out 3 different breakfasts and ironing their school clothes, then that's an achievement for me.
for sure is. Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of work all before 8 a.m. or something.
isn't it? Yeah, as you know.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad to hear that the first book had some healing in it for you. And like during that time, was anybody like noticing how things were going for you, suggesting other kinds of support or therapy or anything like that?
Yeah, so obviously we have the NHS here, but I didn't find much help with it. The waiting lists for counselling are extremely long. You can be waiting up to a year, and in that
Ah,
period, what
wow.
support are you getting? So I did source therapy privately. A friend recommended me a really good therapist.
Mhm.
And she did regression therapy, which helped look at the source of the problem, which I did find extremely beneficial and helpful. I know it's different for everyone and
Right.
different therapies suit different people,
That's
but I found that amazing. I had had counselling before, but it just felt a lot like, hello, why do you feel the way you do? And it was so frustrating because I thought if I knew that, I would not be here. I would not be here. So it just felt like I was going round and round in circles with previous therapies. So to find one that actually worked and I did see an improvement with was amazing. Getting to the source of the problem, it was amazing.
Oh, that's great. And yeah,
Mm.
it's a really good point too that you're making, and not all therapists or
Mm.
therapies are a good match. And
Yeah,
but that can be discouraging.
it
Like,
can.
I'm trying to get help. I'm going to these people. I don't feel
Yeah,
better. Maybe I feel worse sometimes.
yeah,
Like, if you feel alone or misunderstood, it's hard to continue looking for another
yeah.
fit.
I can understand why people feel that way. And
Mm.
private therapy here, it's not very cheap at all. So I think it's discouraging that the free therapy takes so long and then that the private therapy is so expensive.
Right.
So it's highly frustrating. But yeah, I think it's just about persevering. There's nothing more important really than your mental health and your emotional well-being. And
Mhm.
that's what my friend told me, which is what kind of led me to just keep going and trying a different one.
Oh, right.
But I think sometimes it is about it is a priority. It's so important just how you feel mentally and emotionally. It's everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Mm. So, with the first book, and then some help and support, like putting together the how and the why of your experience, did you run into other people or anybody else who was experiencing similar things?
Yeah, I did. So it was probably more so when I started my business. So I offer online coaching.
Mm.
It's not only for mothers and women, but that's kind of my main audience. That's where I have the most experience in. And yeah, even though I was there to help them, I think just hearing their stories and how they struggle, that was just everything to me. I think kind of going through life without a correct diagnosis and feeling misunderstood, it was amazing to be able to hear that, mothers do struggle in general, you're not alone. And that was amazing. I think there's so much pressure on being a good mother,
Mhm.
but it's not real. It's not. We're still human. We still struggle sometimes. We still experience stress, anxiety. We still feel tired. We still feel emotional.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it took me a long time to kind of get out of that mindset of what a good mother is. And you can be a real mother and experience all of those raw emotions and still have an amazing impact on your children.
Sure.
And I think it took me a long time to kind of get to that point.
I mean, it does. You almost have to kind of unlearn,
Yeah.
look at the world through a new lens from all of the things that you've been
Yeah.
told that it's supposed to be, and all the hype
Yeah.
made of how you're supposed to feel. It's pretty pervasive, that
Yes.
that message.
Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. And I think not even just as mothers, but as women, we're seen as the nurturers.
Mhm.
And a nurturer has to have some kind of stability and be able to hold it all together to be able to help others.
Mhm.
So I think as women and as mothers, it's quite hard really just to accept that we also have flaws and that that's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to sort of, I guess, I don't know if it's admit it to yourself, but to
Mm.
other people. And there's potential for judgment and
Mm.
misunderstanding and all this stuff from other people.
Yeah,
To be honest about how you're doing.
exactly. Yeah, it is hard to be honest. And I think, yeah, it was quite hard for me for a long time to be honest about how I was feeling. Yeah, I think just a bit of background on my childhood. So my dad is English, my mum is from Zimbabwe, and he was always kind of the voice in the household, the one who wore the trousers. And her kind of upbringing was emotions, don't exist, you just get over it. So she kind of neglected mine in that sense growing up,
Right, right,
not out of any kind of malice
right.
or, you know, because she wanted to punish us or anything like that, but
Right.
that's how he was raised.
Right.
And that was her first time on earth being a mother as well, and she was still learning. Um, so that was, I think that also impacted how I handled my emotions later on in life. She'd even told me a story. Her mother had 7 children, quite a lot. And one of them, she said her mum went to hospital to give birth and she came back without the child who'd sadly passed away. And even there, it was very much not spoken about. She said she knew her mum felt sad, but they didn't even have one open conversation about that trauma and what had happened. And that's the kind of culture that she was raised in, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, so I guess it's the cultural aspects can impact us as well. So,
Well, absolutely.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
on all fronts,
yeah,
there. Well, I mean that
yeah,
kind of insight, or even making that connection
yeah,
yourself, could it is really powerful to have some understanding of the why, and the how.
yeah.
Um, you are experiencing things or responding to things.
Mm,
It I think it tends to take the some of the judgment out. It brings in a little bit more compassion
mm.
for yourself.
It absolutely does. I do think that's what I learned in the regression therapy that I was talking about, because it does go back to childhood. But yes, I do think for some time I was quite stuck on the why, and it did delay my progress quite a bit. I just was so frustrated at understanding why am I like this, getting frustrated at myself a lot. And again, I think acceptance that this is who I am, this is what they've told me I have, and that's okay. You know, I'm not going to keep getting stuck on the why. It's about what can I do to make this better now for myself, for my children, for my family. Yeah, I think it's so important to heal as a mother because then you can heal your children as well and other generations. It's important to teach them emotional intelligence and give them insight into mental awareness because then they can heal generations going forward. So I think healing as a mother is so important. I think there's still many gaps in the system, you know, where we've failed, as I was saying, with postpartum care. It is, you know, is the baby okay? But is the mother okay? You know, that's such an important thing as well. That baby will not be okay if the mother isn't okay. They go hand in hand, but
They sure do.
it's bypassed, I think. Yeah, so
Yeah, it is. It is a huge gap. And yeah, I mean, our medical systems are different, but I think they lack in the same, in some similar
do
ways.
they? Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're so, I mean, here anyways, and maybe there too,
Mm.
the OB and the primary care are
Mhm.
two separate doctors, two separate kind of things. And then if there you need sort of mental health support, it's starting
Mm.
to be true that OBs and primary care can kind of help manage and prescribe for some things. But
Yeah,
still, it's like, well, I don't do that. Go to this person. And that person's,
yeah,
provider says, well, I don't think that, what's something I can help with.
yeah,
And then and by the time you find somebody who can help, it's been a while. You've been suffering for a long
exactly.
time.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. Yes. And I think sometimes our mental health might be kind of bypassed because I think mental health has always been stigmatized because it's not something that you can just scan and see
Right.
and kind of find the root cause and
Yeah.
treat it accordingly.
Right.
So I think it's still quite stigmatized in that sense. Some people still think seeing is believing. How can you believe in illness that you can't see? So it's frustrating. Even now, I do think it's progressed from what it was,
Yeah.
but there's still so much room for improvement. So much.
Yeah, for sure. And with
Yeah.
the people that you talk with and support, are you seeing those same themes, same
Yes,
frustrations over and over?
it's always that same theme, the
Mhm.
kind of lack of care that they can freely get and the lack of understanding around it. Yeah, especially mothers, as I was saying, when they have tried to open up very bravely, it's that you need to just let your hormones settle. It's hormonal. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. Yeah, yeah. So I do see that quite commonly.
Sure. I
Mm.
think I guess there's space for seeing if it is hormonal
Yeah,
only, but there's like
yeah,
I feel like it could be, well, it seems like anyways it should be easy enough to say
yeah,
like maybe it's hormones, but let's
yeah,
back in a week, or I don't know,
yeah. Some
some
kind of
kind of
follow-up care to,
Mhm.
yeah, to bridge the gap. But yeah, we don't see that here very often.
No,
Mm.
it's still a problem in the US as well.
Yeah.
Um so how after your first book, how long after that did the second come around?
Um, 3 years, I believe. So I took some time to myself. I always knew I wanted to write a second book when I was better, once I've healed, once I had reflected. I had also started a degree in counselling and psychology at that point, so I felt more equipped to write about the kind of healing
Honest.
stages. Yeah, so yeah, I think I just needed the time to be in that right mind frame to write. A lot of people kept saying to me, "Oh no, when are you writing the second book?" But I just wasn't ready. Yeah, I wasn't ready. I didn't have the material. I hadn't healed enough. So I needed to give myself that time and grace to,
Yeah,
be the best version of myself. Yeah.
definitely. I love the title of the book.
Mm.
Just I don't know, it just really means a lot. Becoming
Yeah.
whole in pieces, that it does so many things at once.
Yeah.
It's sort of within it is gives like people permission in some way that they can pull themselves together in however in whatever way
Sure.
they need to.
Yeah.
And I love that. So you outline or kind of walk through your healing process in there?
I did, yeah. So it has self-help exercises in. So it mainly kind of writes in a poetic stance, which is my kind of thing. I love expressing my emotions with poetry.
Nice.
But yeah, I just wanted to put a huge emphasis, sorry, on the fact that healing is not linear. It is literally putting each piece together back at a time. It doesn't happen overnight. It's very slow. Sometimes you can break apart again in the process, having to put them pieces back again.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to outline that healing can be messy at times. It's not a linear or straightforward process. And by accepting, that you are enough as you are, it's just about giving people that power and inspiration to feel like they are enough. Yeah. Because even when we are broken, it doesn't mean that we're less of a person. It doesn't mean that we are subhuman just because we've got
Right.
issues, whether they're mental health issues or just general issues with stress and transitions. So it's just letting people know that they are okay as they are. It's okay to be broken sometimes and to not be ourselves and to have to find ourselves again.
Oh, yeah, and that is a permission. That permission part is a big
Yeah.
deal. Uh,
Isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
it's very relieving
Yeah.
to know that you can not be okay, and
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that doesn't need to mean anything.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't have to define us. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And what are you seeing? Like, what are people's responses to your writing? What are you hearing from folks?
Yeah. So mostly good. Yeah, I would say mostly good. A lot of people coming to me with, relatable experiences,
Mm.
which is always wonderful. I think at the start, there was some stigma about me speaking as a mother with mental health issues. That was always the issue, being a mother with mental health issues. It wasn't understood, but I just persevered. Um,
Good.
yeah, because not everyone will understand. Obviously, it is a big thing for me to help people understand, but there'll always be people that won't necessarily get it, and that's life. I've
That's true.
accepted that. Yeah, I'm at peace with that. But mainly good, relatable experiences. I think once you start to open up as a mother, it gives power to other people to realize that actually that's okay. I'm going to say I'm struggling too and get the help that I need.
For sure. Yeah.
Mm,
I mean, the power of just hearing somebody else's story and being able to
yeah,
reflect and identify with that, it goes a long way to even just to not feel alone because it's so
yeah,
isolating
yes,
to feel like
yeah,
it's just you or you're some strange,
yeah,
somehow you're a, well, what I hear a lot of times is you're a bad mom because you
yes,
don't,
yeah,
things aren't perfect. It's just
yeah.
ridiculous.
That's it. And what is a good mom? What is a bad mom? It's such a strange thing, isn't it? Are you a bad mom because you have emotions and are human and go through stress and anxiety and, because you fail sometimes? Does that make you a bad mom? I've never really understood, when people say that.
Oh, right. I
Mm.
mean, the pressure for perfection is unreal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a very little wiggle room. So, yeah, going back to like being able to hear somebody's story, like your story, and identifying with it, and being able to see that even though you felt the way that you felt and it was as hard as it was, that there somehow you figured out a way through,
Yeah.
uh, it gives hope, really.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it does give hope. Yeah, I think acceptance has been a big part in my journey. I've accepted I'll always be on this medication, which balances my emotions.
Mhm.
And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with saying that. There was a lot of shame for me at first.
Mm.
I remember standing, outside of the school, dropping off my youngest son, and I thought, I'm sure I'm the only mother here on antipsychotic medication. And that was always the thought that I would have in my head. But
Mhm.
they would have struggled with things as well. It might not have been the exact same issue as me, but they would have struggled mentally and emotionally at points in their lives. And it's just about realizing that we all do struggle. It's about women empowering women and coming together and realizing that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm,
And yeah, when you, as you mentioned before, I mean, you are hearing from other people, and while maybe they don't have your exact same story, there are lots of
yeah.
overlap.
That's
And
it. Yeah.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
know by sort of looking, as you said,
Yeah.
it's invisible in ways.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's it. But yeah, very nice to get their relatable stories and to realize that we are all in this together. Nobody's perfect. It's not about being a perfect mum. It's about being a real mum, and real mums experience it all as, we go through all the emotions.
Sure. I mean, sometimes the weight that you
Mm,
carry is, I mean, you can't put a number on that. There's no, uh, it's it's a lot. I mean, balancing all that you've got going on and what the kids
mm,
have going on, and whatever else it is that you're doing, if whether it's work or home or both, or
mm.
you know, mm, de- dealing with other family members who are having
Yeah.
challenges or whatever. There's all kinds of
Always
stuff.
something.
You're just supposed to what, like, not be impacted, not be affected, and do it all with a
Exactly.
smile.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think as well, it's important. I know being a mother is our number one priority, understandably, but it's important to make time for yourself as well, whether that's an hour a week, whatever you can manage, just making time for yourself. I used to feel bad about even meeting my friends, like if they asked me to do something late at night, something I couldn't bring the children to, I would just feel terrible.
Mhm.
But I think you need that time for your own sanity. Yeah.
Oh, no
Yeah,
doubt.
you do. So I've started prioritizing that, and that's a big thing. And not feeling guilty about it. That's another big thing.
Yeah, right. Those are
Yeah.
two separate, connected, but very hard things
Yeah. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
to do.
Yes.
That guilt, man,
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah.
it's horrible, and you
Yeah.
feel guilty about potentially everything.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. You can, but you just need to, not let it escalate and realize that you need that time to be a better mum in the long run. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Right. So with the with the books and the work that you're doing, I mean, this is really um, you've you've used your experience in a really transformational way for yourself. You've gone through so much, found healing, and now helping other people. Do you ever reflect on kind of what you've been through, how far you've come, and are able to really, I guess, well, I don't know if this is a very English thing to do, but to
Mm,
appreciate how
yeah.
far you've come.
I do, yes. I do. I mean, I still, admittedly, it's hard not to feel guilty
Mm.
because when you have a mental health illness and you have family and you have children and you have a partner, it's hard not to think about the impact that had on them. And by no means is the impact intentional or
Oh,
avoidable at times. But it's hard. It's hard not to feel that at times. But I just have to reassure myself. And it's a big thing for me, that my children look back and don't see a mother with a mental health illness, that they see a mother who had one but has done all these wonderful things to help other people. That's a big thing for me. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
that's that's beautiful. I mean,
Mm,
it's such a good lesson too, I think, for kids. Yes, we're like seeking healing for ourselves
mm,
and to be better, the best parent possible, still meaning that we still have bad days and all of that, not that
yeah,
we're our best all the time. But
yeah,
I think it's just a good lesson for kids too, that you can go through really hard things
yeah,
and find your way through them.
exactly. Yeah. There's so many lessons to be learned, I think.
Mm.
That nobody's perfect, that we all suffer sometimes, that life isn't joyous and wonderful all the time, that you're not immune to a mental health illness just because
Mhm.
you're a mother. So, yeah, so many lessons just to be learned, and I hope I can teach effectively.
Yeah, but well, beautiful with the platform that you have developed with Mindset Mother. What are those things that you're trying to?
Yeah. So, with it being quite a new business at the moment, my focus is on the one-to-one coaching. I would love to develop workshops in the future about different things, like we were
Mhm.
saying, mums being able to prioritize their time,
Yeah.
mums regaining their identity,
Mhm.
postpartum identity. So there is workshops I'd also like to add on to there.
Mhm.
Um, yes, so but at the moment it is just a coaching, but it's quite new and I'm just, finding my feet with it.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how things start. I mean,
Mm,
it's a parallel to motherhood in a way. You
yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
new endeavor trying to figure out
Yeah.
the best way through, and there's bumps and bruises along the way, and there's beautiful things that
Yeah.
happen along the way.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
another version of you sort of evolving or transforming.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel as mothers, we're always learning. It never ends. There's never a day when you think I've got it all together. I have all the answers. It's
Right.
always something new. Yeah, because I have a younger child and then I have two teenagers.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's a different ball game when you become teenagers. It's
For sure.
just, yeah, you're having to learn all over again how to parent them, how to manage them.
Right.
Yeah, yes.
Let alone just trying to figure out what kind of slang they're saying, what it
Oh
means.
my gosh, exactly. I don't understand them half the time. The new slang phrase each week.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, and new worries. Yeah, new
Yeah.
anxieties with the different stages.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Mm,
absolutely. There's ones,
yeah,
yeah, they're shifting and changing, and we're shifting and changing along with them the best we can,
exactly. Yeah,
and
it's tricky
learning
to
things.
navigate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you so much taking the time to share bits of your journey with us and the work that you're doing and the books that you've written. Where can people find the books?
Yeah, so both books are available on Amazon.
Nice. That's great.
Yes. Mhm.
And yeah, it sounds like they are a great resource to check out to get your first hand experience of what you went through and then your healing process. I think it's a beautiful kind of offering that was for you and your healing, but also potential for other people's healing as well.
Thank you so much. And thank you for all the work you do as well.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It was lovely to meet you, and thank you for being on.
You as well. Thank you.
Please connect with Rudo on Instagram and TikTok at Mindset Mother. And if this episode has resonated with you in any way, or you know somebody who could benefit from hearing this conversation, please do send this along. The more people who hear these conversations on the Mom and Mind podcast, the more people know that they are not alone and that they can seek healing as well.